Hello?
Hello,
Yes.
Ms. Ambassador.
Yes, this is Nikki. How are you, Mr. Minister?
I'm glad. Nice to hear you, dear Ambassador. How are
Yes,
you?
thank you. And let me start with very much thanking you for the support we received on the vote today. We will never forget it.
Thank you. And I'm also glad that you have found time for me today. Even the time of considering resolution in the UN against the USA. Poland, as you know, haven't supported this resolution.
Well, we're very grateful, and I absolutely will make time, and the U.S. will always look at Poland as a dear friend after this vote.
As a Prime Minister, I'm ready to support the US decision of Jerusalem on the governmental level and any other initiatives in this regard.
Well, and that's great, and we look forward to working with Joanna on the Security Council. There's a lot of important issues, but we look forward to working with her.
Yeah, and it is a pity that the Security Council was not wise and acted against the US. What is your opinion? Why did it happen?
Why did the vote happen in the Security Council?
Does Russia have anything to do with this?
Well, I think it was. I think that really the Palestinians. It was more Egypt that kind of did this for the Arab League. The Russians obviously didn't help, but I think it was more of a push by the Arab League on this one.
Okay, but you know that we are with you.
Yes, and we appreciate that very much, and certainly look forward to a stronger and a continue to work together relationship as we go on to the Security Council together, and certainly in any way that we can be helpful. Just please feel like you can give me a call anytime, and we'll be happy to push forward anything that you need.
And I would also like to discuss our Polish-Ukrainian relations with you.
Yes.
As you know, Ukraine is our neighbor and we often acted jointly. Poland has always supported Ukraine, and especially in the fight against Russia. The Ukrainian authorities have often asked us to vote for different resolutions in the UN, and we supported them. But not long ago, they have passed a law on the national language, which affects the rights of minorities speaking Polish, Hungarian, Romanian, and Russian. And we also have huge differences concerning Nazism and criminals of Bandera. And as you know, Poland suffered much from Ukrainian nationalists, and Nazism glorification in Ukraine is outrageous.
Right, I understand.
And the US and Ukraine were against the resolution of Russia against glorification of Nazism. Why did you follow Ukraine on this matter? I just would like to know.
Well, we've always, when it comes to Ukraine, we've found a strong relationship with Ukraine, and I think where we've come together with them is really in trying to push Russia back on the annexation of Crimea. So that really was the basis of what our relationship has been, is just helping them in the issues that they have with Russia. But as we go forward, we continue to try and get Russia and Ukraine to follow the Minsk agreement. Russia has hesitated, but we continue to work hard to make sure that we support that Crimea issue. So that's been the main part of what we have worked on with Ukraine. And, certainly happy to work with you on any issues that come forward.
In this regard, we told Mr. Poroshenko that Poland is not going to support Ukrainian resolution in the UN unless Ukraine changes the law on the national language.
Okay. That's good to know, and we can look into that as well.
And I just want to ask you, can the US authorities influence the authorities of Ukraine and ask them to change the law of the national language so the Ukraine will not discriminate Polish and other languages?
Let me look into it and look into this issue, and I will make sure that I get you an answer back.
Okay, thank you. And there is a little problem with Russian. I mean, not so little. I mean, what is your opinion? Should we claim our support for it as a language of minority and demand not to affect the rights of Russian-speaking minorities? Personally, I don't care much about Russian, but I just care about the law.
I think that you should focus just on Poland, but I'm going to go look into this issue and see what we can change, and then I'll give
Mm-hmm.
you back information, and then also give you any advice that I think we have as to how to approach it.
Okay, that's perfect. And we also know that U.S. is promising that lethal weapons to Ukraine. Is it really true? This matter has to do with the national interest of Poland's security issues, as we are not sure that this type of weapons will be at the hands of right people. Unfortunately, we are well aware that there are many militant groups in the country which are not accountable to the official authorities and the different troops units which can get hold of these weapons. And the corruption issue of Ukrainian authorities is still relevant. I think so.
Well, and we have been talking with Ukraine about weapons, and I know that that's something that the administration has discussed with them. I don't think it is totally finalized yet, but that was in reference to them being able to defend themselves in terms of Russia. But I will also find out confirmation on that, if it's been finalized and if that's going to go forward. And I will certainly let the president know your concerns.
Dear Ambassador, sorry for that question, but it's so important for us. And
I completely understand, and I respect that. Thank you.
Thank you. As for the UN resolution on the Crimea, we are glad that the UN actively protested against the action of Russia as an invader, and we hope that the pressure on Russia will still be in place. However, the hope that the Crimea is going back to Ukraine is very slight. Are there any prospects? What is your view?
Well, I think what we have told Russia is that, Crimea is part of Ukraine, and as long as they continue to annex and use their hostile actions, that we're going to continue to keep up our sanctions and continue to support Ukraine in that process. So I don't see us letting up unless Russia does something. The United States has been in talks with Russia on dealing with this situation, but it's still in talks, and no decision has been made on the Russian side.
So regarding the sanctions, I heard that that the U.S. can raise the sanctions.
Yes, the United States did put sanctions on Russia for Crimea, and those sanctions are still there.
Yes, and I know that it could be new sanctions on February. It's possible too.
Right. If we don't see any improvement, those sanctions will continue.
Yeah, correct. And then one more matter in Russian Nord Stream 2. And we believe that Nord Stream is a very harmful project, dangerous for the security of the Central Europe. It may kill Ukraine as it will stop being gas transiting country, and Poland may be again under the threat of harsh pricing from Gazprom and Russia. Unfortunately, Russia is supported by German and other European countries. May we find countries balanced with the help of the US and the UN?
Well, I'm happy to look into that and see if we can get you some more clarification on that one.
So it's a problem for us.
Yes, no, that's helpful to know that.
Yeah, it's a big point. I just try to let you know.
Okay.
And can the U.S. put pressure on Western Europe to give up the Russian project? I mean, on the level of the UN.
Okay. Well, no, and that's helpful to know, and I'll bring attention to this as well.
Thank you so much, dear Ambassador. We are also concerned about persecution of Poroshenko against Saakashvili, because Mr. Saakashvili came from Poland to Ukraine. And I think it is shameful for the former president that he is called the Russian spy, because he went against the president of Ukraine and he has to flee from the Ukrainian intelligence and to be under arrest for several days. We urge you to support Mr. Saakashvili and prevent Ukrainian authorities to conduct a legal trial on him. Do you understand that it's a purely political case?
Right.
I'm sure that it's a political case.
Yes, I think that, we tend to stay out of the political sides of that, but I'll certainly just make sure that your concerns are heard and let them know that it's something that you're watching and that you care about. And
I'm also interested how the U.S. could help the Poland in the UN and during our cooperation.
Well, I think that, first of all, obviously, whatever issues Joanna finds that she wants to push in the Security Council and any issues that she thinks will be important to Poland, we will always try and support those. And so as soon as she knows more of the issues that she wants to, really work on or deal with, I know that her presidency, I believe, is in May. And so in May is when you will have the opportunity to really plan the program of work and decide what the calendar is going to look like. And so we'll certainly support her in every way that we can to make sure that your issues are heard and that you know where we stand on those issues.
We are ready to help you to work together in May. I mean, so we are absolutely ready. And in many cases, in a Syrian case and in many other, and especially with the Israel cases. So you can trust us.
Well, and that's very helpful. And I did tell Joanna that since this is new for Poland, the U.S. is there to assist and help in making sure the transition to the Security Council goes very well. So please don't hesitate to call us with any questions or any ask of assistance, and we'll be happy to help.
I'm really pleased for your answers. And one more matter is island Binomo. It's not far from Vietnam in the South China Sea, you know.
Okay.
You know Binomo?
Yes.
They declared independence.
Right.
They had elections, and we suppose Russian had its intervention.
Yes, of course they did. Absolutely.
And now this Binomo land makes the situation in the South China Sea even more tense.
And we're aware of that, and we've been watching that very closely, and I think we'll continue to watch that as we deal with the issues that keep coming up about the South China Sea.
Yes, that's correct. That's correct. What should be done because of this Binomo?
Let me find out exactly what our stance is on that, and if anything, the U.S. is doing or thinks should be done, and I will report back to you on that as well.
And what is your view?
You know, I can't speak without getting the administration's view on it. Let me find out from them, and then I'll get back to you.
What do you think about Binomo? It's a Binomo. I mean, Binomo. You know that?
Right. No, I mean, I think our concern is everything that's going on in the South China Sea and the influence that continues to push that way. Our goal is to make sure that it stays intact and that we don't see intrusion or any sort of bullying in terms of that. So I know that we're supposed to be having White House meetings on all issues with the South China Sea coming forward, and so I think we'll have more answers at that time. And
I should you to aware that you should keep in safety your consulates there.
Okay.
I think.
Yes.
And I don't know what Putin will make with that, because it's a really dangerous issue.
No, and that's what we're watching carefully, is we're very aware.
So that's my just a point, and I just want to ask you: will Putin be so aggressive regarding the Europe in next year? I'm just worried about it.
Well, it's hard to know what Russia is doing right now. I think what we have seen in the Security Council and otherwise is they are trying to be relevant in every region, and they're trying to have some sort of say in every region. In some cases it has worked for them, and in some cases it hasn't. So they don't have the influence that I think they would like to have, but they're certainly trying to get that. And I think that many of the other countries, whether it's the Security Council or otherwise, are watching it very cautiously and carefully to make sure that they don't get too much of a foothold where they can cause chaos.
I really worry about our membership in next year, and we will be members as like Russia, and I'm just really worried about our country. So how we will work with this aggressive member?
Well, just know that we'll continue to work with you. They are aggressive and they can be difficult to work with on the council, but the Security Council very much tries to be united where we can, and when we see something wrong, we try and call it out. And so there can be some difficult issues, and they do try and cause some disruption, but I think we do continue to try and work with them to make sure that doesn't happen.
So I hope we can unite against Russia in next year in our council.
We will be happy to continue working with you on all the issues that come up and work together in every situation that we possibly can.
Yes, I hope so. And it's pretty, and because I just really worked and I spoke with our president and I spoke with our representative in the UN, and they told that the situation around Russia is crazy, and it's crazy.
It is very, and but we manage them, and we continue to remind them what their place is. And so it's a daily battle, but it's something that we continue to fight for.
Yes, and I also worry about the elections. I hope that we can change something during the elections in Russia. I mean, that's because Putin would like to go on the next term, and it's pretty dangerous for our cooperation.
No, and we agree with that completely. So no, I agree. That's something we're all watching. It looks like that there's not going to be any issues with the election, but we're still watching it.
Yeah, thank you for your support. Anyway, and I'm pleased that you found a time, and that's heavy day. And I saw that what happened in the UN on Assembly today, and it was. Yes, we in next year, I hope that we can make a new resolution and we can support absolutely the US. And so
Well, we certainly appreciate that, and we really do look forward to working with you and look forward to working together as we try and get some things done.
You should know that now we're upset, but next year we could vote for your resolution. And I know that EU press on us. You know that this is also hard.
Yes. Well, no, we certainly appreciate what you did today, and we'll continue to try and work with you as we go forward. But even if you couldn't vote, the fact that you were at least not voting against us really was important to us.
Yes, it was also important for us because, the problem is only EU management. And right. I spoke with Juncker, and he asked me do not vote for this resolution.
Well, please let him know how much we appreciate that, and it will go a long way. The president asked for the list of those that didn't vote against us, and it will be a list that is always remembered.
Yes, and I also aware that some media shows that you put on a blacklist countries that did not support the resolution.
Well, I think what you're going to see is there were 65 countries that did not go against the United States, and so those countries, when it comes time, those are obviously countries we'll look favorable on, and then the other countries. When they come asking for something, it is a list that the president will be looking at before he makes a decision.
At the end of our conversation, to speak not only about politics. Have you read today's shocking interview of Mr. Poroshenko?
I have not. I will pull it up, though.
From Ukrainian president.
Yes, I'll have to pull it up.
And he said that in 2015, Kevin Spacey visited Ukraine.
Is that right?
Yeah, that was funny. During official dinner, he started to touch the knee of the president.
Oh, really?
yeah, and it is crazy.
Oh, that's funny. I'll have to pull up that interview and read it.
Yeah, that's true. And even the president became a victim of this maniac.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Yeah. And Poroshenko decided to disclose this just now, and he said that it crushed his state of mind, and he started to abuse alcohol, but now he's better.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I just advise you to read it.
No, I'm definitely going to pull that up and read it. That sounds very interesting. So I will certainly do that.
Do you know the Kevin Spacey? That
I
it's
know
true?
of him. I know of him, and I've seen his things, but I don't know him personally.
Okay, but I think that's crazy.
Yes, no, it's hard to know. It's a strange time, but I don't know him personally. But we certainly do hear stories.
No, I just read your interview before, and
Oh, okay.
and it was against this harassment, and I agree and I support that. So anyway,
Yes.
and by the
Yes.
way, our former Prime Minister, Beata Szydło, former Prime Minister of Poland, told me that she was harassed by Mr. Trump in 2012.
Really?
Yeah, she told me that.
Wow. That's
So
interesting.
yeah, but maybe it's like a, I don't know what is, like, it's modern to accuse people in that.
Right, right. No, it's an interesting time and a lot of accusations coming forward, but we'll
It's a,
continue. We're trying to stay as focused as we can and continue to push forward to get some things done.
yeah, correct, and it's fashionable. Just
Yes.
and now she feels sorry that she rejected him in a rude manner.
Oh, wow. Well, that might have been what was needed. So we'll leave it at that.
Okay, how we can connect to you in
So
future?
feel free to call me anytime at this number, and anytime you need to connect, anytime you need to reach me, I will make a point to be available.
Okay,
Okay?
okay, yeah, okay,
All right.
sure.
Well,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much, and I appreciate the call.
I appreciate the call, dear ambassador.
Okay, take
Thank
care.
you. Thank you. Bye.